Call of the Wire by Casket Base 77. Chapter 1. Jack.App. The gyroscopic protoplow was the third most advanced device in all of Equestria, so said all the radio announcers paid to promote it. The plow's list of features contained words never before heard at Sweet Applejack, such as ergonomic and hypoallergenic. In the end though, the specifics hadn't mattered. Big Macintosh's back wasn't getting any less achy with age, and Apple Bloom had memorised a discount code rattled off by one of the teeny bopper talking heads she followed. The eldest brother got a new tool, and the younger sister could forevermore insist there was value in listening to the Cozy's Glow Pinions podcast, which left the middle sibling as the only one unsatisfied with the outcome. No self-respecting, thinking machine would ever admit to feeling threatened by a mindless piece of farm equipment, not even a flashy one strapped to its brother. Still, the bearer of honesty couldn't exactly lie to itself. To solve this quiet personal crisis, it volunteered to supervise Big Macintosh's test run with a new plough. After all, Equestria's third most advanced device would be best judged by Equestria's second most.
That harness ain't causing any tension in your leathers, is it?
Nope. Big Macintosh's head was obscured by an interface visor, but his voice came through, calm and level.
This field's got less topsoil than the big one out back. Still want to fire up that thing here?
Yup.
You sure your withers aren't tense? You're pouring at the ground something fierce.
With effort, Big Macintosh reeled in his frustrated hoof taps. There was only one overbearing machine in the field with him, and it wasn't the proto-plough. AJ cared, he knew that, but it was the type of caring which led to pacing circles around him, scanning the safety section of the proto-plough's instruction booklet. Flesh and blood pony hooves lacked the deftness to trot, to hold a thick paperback, and to flip through the pages all at the same time. AJ had not had flesh and blood pony hooves for a very long time.
You'd think Sol would go easy on the sunlight so early in the day,
AJ fretted. It paused mid-page turn to let its ocular lenses whir and click, adjusting for glare.
You feeling lightheaded from the heat? There's a feature to frag that, I'm sure. Need to find...
Big Macintosh flicked his ears in the pattern the advertisements taught him, and AJ's prattling was drowned out for one merciful moment by an awning being activated. The sunshade stretched and unfurled, briefly obscuring Big Macintosh's vision until the transparency feature activated. As it did, he heard a synthetic snort and the shutting of the instruction booklet.
Well,
AJ pouted.
Evan, you're so confident to get underway here.
Yup. Max swished his tail, another gesture from the commercials, which caused the engine to start up, not with the crude rattle of diesel, but instead an electric hum. It was a lot like the noise AJ made whenever it was exerting itself to kick trees. With quiet pride, Big Macintosh appreciated he had his own hum now, the main difference being it wasn't inside him, but instead affixed to his shoulders by a comfy harness. Moreover, he'd sought out the harness voluntarily. Moreover, it could be taken off whenever the wearer wanted. Now that Big Macintosh reflected on it, his hum wasn't like AJ's at all.
Be safe, please.
AJ backed up to provide some startup room. The safety booklet clutched tightly to its chest panel. Yup, Big Macintosh stammered. He squared his muscular legs and felt the proto-plough shift to match him. No worries, he ventured. AJ was incapable of lying to its brother's face, so it pulled down its hat, the only aspect of Applejack that had survived her own moment of recklessness long ago. Fire damage on a time-worn brim filled AJ's visual senses.
No worries?
The robot mumbled. Big Macintosh swished his tail again and rocketed forward. Whoa! The proto-plough's bulkhead forged ahead, effortless and clean. Big Macintosh had never felt more weightless, even as his legs pumped like pistons past mounds of freshly tilled earth. AJ's legs actually were pistons, and it pumped them in double time to catch up. 4 sets of gyroscopes soon found a rhythm that carried AJ close enough to yell in his ear.
You're covering out the field in seconds. You sure you're in control of that thing?
Big Macintosh's answer was to proudly pivot the proto-plow, churning ever more dirt with perfect precision. He swerved around a certain corner of the field, one that had always been difficult to maneuver with the old plow. But now he breezed past the mounds of roots in the shade of their source, the 2 biggest trees in the farm's property. Big Mac allowed a self-indulgent nod to the conjoined trunks of pear and apple, certain the monument to his parents was looking down on him with approval. AJ lopped along in its brother's wake, slightly less equipped than he was to traverse the root mounds. The cooling fan in its chest was whirring fiercely, so AJ slowed to a stop in the shade. This grove was a place of ease, so long as AJ tersely averted its oculars from the 3rd grave near the braided tree trunks.
On your left, Applejack.
AJ flinched, first at hearing that full name, and then again as Big Macintosh shot past her on his 2nd lap around the fallow field. His tailwind followed, blowing AJ's synthetic hair in every direction. Despite itself, AJ grinned. Joy at the proto-plow's success was contagious, and AJ had learned to live vicariously through others. It was sure that the field was already halfway tilled, and in a few more laps, it'd be ready for planting. A day's work done in a minute, done by a normally stoic Clydesdale giggling like colt with his new toy. Out of earshot, at least until Big Mac looped back again, AJ offered its own thoughts to the shade of the branches of family members gone. Sorry I worry for his safety, Applejack. Surging with new heat at addressing its template, AJ reflexively reached to pull its hat down. Its hoof touched cranial plating and nothing else.
Huh? Where?
On your left again.
A new, less enjoyable burst of tailwind blasted dirt and hair into AJ's oculars. It frantically wiped the obstructions away, scanning the field for the missing hat. A desperate prayer to soul begged to not find shredded leather stomped under hoof by the most recent drive-by. Faith was rewarded by the sight of Applejack's Stetson, intact and resting on the last strip of the field that hadn't been ploughed yet. The strip Big Macintosh had swung around to begin barreling towards.
No! Mac! No!
AJ lunged, its mental processor flooded with clashing values and variables. Calculations of whether that panicked shriek had been understandable, predictions of the speed of the incoming proto-plow, hard data asserting there were hundreds of replacement Stetsons in the world, and a roiling wordless override that screamed that there was only one Stetson in the world that Applejack had died in. Big Macintosh whinnied, finally noticing something wrong. He was moving too fast to brake, and almost too fast to swerve without crashing. The proto-plow's onboard gyroscope strained itself to keep him stable, and the entire device pitched hard and clipped AJ's tail. Then the plow hit the root mounds by the grove, tipping the entire thing over as it tore through the field's fence, finally slamming to a sideways skidding stop in the shredded grass. AJ's auditory feed had picked up every sickening crunch of the proto-plow's crash. Its cooling fan was overclocked as AJ scrambled to its prosthetic hooves and bolted towards the wreck. The hat stayed where it lay, abandoned just as frantically as it had been claimed, as if leaving it on the ground might somehow renege on the horrible trade that was just made. AJ's fan was nearly spinning off its axle when it arrived at the scene. In a pile of twisted fence wire was the bent metal frame of what had once been a proto-plow. Inside were 4 massive airbags sandwiching the driver. Big Macintosh raised his blue-screened helmet, dazed but unhurt.
We have insurance, right, Applejack?
Ready to sail into the wind, heading west to find my reason, longing for something greater than this, and I'm right with anticipation.
Giddy up, Applejack! Every filly's dream, now a reality. The ultimate in equestrian robotics, Giddy Up Applejack is programmed to perfectly emulate the behaviour of an honest and kind big sister. She neighs, she trots, she'll love you lots. And with no need to harvest apples or sew dresses, Giddy Up Applejack is the perfect stand-in for Sister Hooves socials. Only 16,000 bits.
Copyright 2042 Flim Flam Automator.
Here I come, hoist up my sails and